Be a young boy in late May during the 1970s. You probably have polio, syphilis, racism, or some other strange disease because the 1970s was a godforsaken time. Only the strongest boys and girls survived this period of galactic unrest. Living life on an absolute hellhole of a rock, there isn't much in terms of entertainment. If you're a member of the filthy bourgeoisie, then you probably have some sort of shitty video game console. A video game console that will probably play games that aren't even epic like Fortnite. How am I supposed to secure the epic victory royale on this machine? This doesn't even have a jack for me to plug my Turtle Beach headphones into. How else am I going to scream obscenities at the gamer girls who keep beating me in Pong? You could instead play in the streets until you inevitably get smushed by some old white man in a Cadillac reminiscing about the good old days. Options are limited, but then you hear whisperings about a brand new movie opening at the local theater in your town. It's not some black and white Casablanca bullshit. It's a flick that features color and audio and film for the first time in human history. This is a real fact, please do not try and prove me wrong. An action-adventure film set in space? This is all you know. You have no idea what to expect, it's nothing like you've heard of before. The blockbuster is still a relatively new concept. So, with stale popcorn and disgusting milk duds in hand, you take your seat for Star Wars. After every mouth breather shuts their gigantic traps, you are treated to a big dump of exposition talking about a civil war, a Death Star, whatever the fuck that means, and an evil empire. You are shown action, adventure, tension, and funny robots. So far, it's standard popcorn flick flair. At this point, we should expect everything to be kept simple. Lucas is already taking a big risk with this world, why take an even bigger risk with writing complex and meaningful characters? He could fail hard, destroying any chance of connecting this world with the audience. But you, a teenager in the 1970s, are about to experience maybe the peak of cinema. The Twin Sons of Tatooine, one of my favorite moments in film history, all because George Lucas put as much thought and care into the characters as he did the setting and the world. This is the best scene not just in A New Hope, but out of all the other films in the franchise. There have been many fantastic scenes in Star Wars. You have Han Solo saying the iconic "I know is Leia thirst for the hunkiest boy in the galaxy." You have Luke overcome with anger about to strike down his father, fulfilling the Emperor's prediction. But this scene, this is my favorite. It's not the fancy laser sword fights that leave an impact on me. It's not Rey vs Kylo, Vader vs Luke, or Maul vs Obi-Wan. It's not the funny haha droids or the so bad it's good nature of the prequels. It's an intimate 30-second character moment with absolutely no dialogue that leaves an impact on me. This is the first scene that comes to my mind when I think Star Wars. It's simply the best. This scene is all about developing and cementing some of Luke's characterization. What do we know about Luke as a character up to this point? He's a whiny bastard who is the son of two farmers, one of whom has been confined to saying 7 lines of dialogue, with 5 of those being, "Luke, Luke." He has a dream of joining the rebellion, but it feels like a teenager's fantasy rather than a real aspiration. It feels like a hope for the sake of going against the wishes of his uncle and his aunt rather than something he truly wants. This is until the twin sun scene. As an audience member, his feelings of want are so desperate that they are palpable and tangible. You understand that this is something he truly wants rather than a teenager's spite-filled idea. This is where I fell in love with Luke. All this emotion and sympathy you feel towards Luke is almost created entirely by the music. Don't get me wrong, Hamill is doing a great job in this scene. He's not doing too much, which is exactly what he needs to do. You don't need a big showy performance for this scene. Hamill's performance isn't what is supposed to connect you to his character. It's actually the music. I'm not a music major, but I don't have to be one to tell you how the music creates a sense of grandness. The music is almost inviting Luke into this unknown world. The swell is the strongest it calls him. I love how dynamic the volume of the score is here. It's not all one big swell, there's some build and some fall. One piece of music should not be able to create feelings of hope, melancholy, longing, and despair all at the same time. But it does this, and I love it for that reason. Music can be so much more. It doesn't have to be filler. It can mean everything to a film. Look at Aquaman. Hearing Ocean to Ocean is the single most emotional thing I've ever experienced in a theater. I mean, they tried to get rid of me, but from Ocean to Ocean, they're gonna have to deal with me. Woo! I mean, we know the performance and the music are great here. We know that this is what turns Luke from whiny to hopeful. It shows us that he can feel despair in this silly space flick. But one thing I feel gets overlooked in this scene is the imagery. The twin suns. One of the most powerful pieces of visual storytelling you'll see in any blockbuster. How many times have you stared into the stars wondering your place in this universe? That is what Luke is doing. However, he's staring at something much more fantastical than we are accustomed to. The twin suns of Tatooine. We understand immediately the potential of this universe and the power of its secrets. The twin suns represent all the different things he may encounter if he were to leave Tatooine. We as an audience have never seen twin suns before. Space, which is already weird and exciting, has just become heightened. We are placed into the shoes of Luke. We understand why he wants to explore the cosmos. This universe is a fantasy filled with creatures never before seen, and he's stuck on this boring rock. We mirror Luke. We are stuck on this boring rock of Earth. In this way, we are immediately drawn to Luke. He's like us. He's trying to find his place in this universe, longing to see the uncharted and untamed world before him. All he has to do is leave this rock. In that way, this is why this scene is so powerful. It invokes so many more emotions than should be expected of a summer adventure movie. It's beautiful. It's simply Star Wars. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to support me on Patreon if you enjoyed the content. Follow me on Twitter and join my Discord. The links are on the screen now. Have a great day, everyone. Subscribe, hit the bell, and farewell.